Hello, Morongo Basin and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Wednesday, February 14th, 2024. The Morongo Unified School District Board of Trustees held their regular meeting last night at Joshua Tree Elementary to standing room only, most of whom were Morongo Teachers Association members voicing their concern and solidarity against the preliminary classified layoff resolution that board members were recommended to pass. Assignment reporter Gabriel Hart was in attendance and joins us with this recap.
MTA President Amber Hansen started her certified representative report with an impassioned indictment of the board, demanding an explanation of the recent high board member raises in contrast to the lack of funding of the positions about to be abolished.
So again, we need an explanation. We need to understand what's going on here. How are you paying for it? Why were you doing that? It sends this suggestion that some people might be more important than the other people that work in this district. And then we find out that they're abolishing classified positions. Then it looks like maybe we're putting money into the wrong things, because budgets that reflect values would look like we were putting money at as close to students as possible.
Hansen then stated high school math and English classes were increasing in defiance of the MTA's negotiations for smaller class sizes, and that the responsibility to fix this, quote, damage of trust lies within the board. Superintendent Dr. Vargas defended the board's raises to stay competitive with other regions.
Assess our strategies to attract and retain top-tier talent, especially in key leadership roles. The increasing compensation for assistant superintendents is grounded in the need for equitable and competitive remuneration, aligning with the responsibilities and expectations inherited in these critical positions.
Vargas then provided a chart of local regions and their average pay, with MUSD still ranking the lowest, even after the recent raise negotiations. Stacey Smalling spoke to offer clarity to the layoff resolution that while many positions are being abolished, many are also being established in their place, while also citing the loss of 200 students in the district.
That being said, we're committed to working closely with CSCA to ensure that even with the layoff resolution that we have tonight, that the affected employees are given all their contractual rights, have choices where possible, and have access to applying for open positions in our district.
Once public comment commenced, the board got earfuls from 9 frustrated teachers and staff, including nurses and struggling special ed instructors, pleading for them to reconsider abolishing vital instructional assistants, campus security, and health technician positions.
OASIS is short 11 instructional assistants. I believe 8 of those are in the special ed programs. Again, it's our students not getting their needs safely met. Those ed positions should be getting priority. That's a lawsuit just waiting to happen. On April 1st,
when it came time to vote, various members of the board were altered by the outpouring. Christopher Clare said,
I have a wife that comes home crying about once a week. Sorry, I'm getting choked up, but due to lack of support from the district.
With the window of deadline approaching, the board still voted 5-0 for the layoffs. However, when it came time to suggest future agenda items, board members voted to reconsider class increases and hiring practices for instructional assistants and health technicians. Reporting for Z107.7, this is assignment reporter Gabriel Hart.
Onaga Elementary School was put on lockdown yesterday morning at around 11 a.m. because of a threat of weapons that was eventually deemed to be unfounded. Representatives from Morongo Unified School District say that county sheriff's deputies responded to a report of a weapon on campus and conducted a weapons search. The campus was put on lockdown after the report was made. Deputies found no weapons and determined that the threat was unfounded. The sheriff's department described the report of a weapon as a third-hand account that someone may have had a firearm on campus. All students and faculty were deemed safe and accounted for, and the lockdown was lifted just before 11 a.m. Last night, the 29 Palm City Council heard application presentations for grant funding, pondered a possible relocation for the 29 sign, and approved a lighting upgrade for Lucky Park. Reporter Heather Clisby was there.
Just 30 minutes prior to the official meeting, the 29 Palm City Council heard application presentations from 4 local nonprofits to receive Community Development Block Grant funding. Funding will be announced in late April or early May. With council members Daniel Mintz and MacArthur Wright absent, the council then acknowledged Black History Month with a proclamation and a special recognition of former council member Carmelette Ogilvie, the city's first Black female mayor. Paul Razzo of the Public Arts Advisory Committee addressed the council regarding the refurbishment and possible relocation of the 29 sign created by local artist Chuck Kaplinger in 2009. After 15 years, the sign is faded, corroded, and difficult to access, and certainly not ADA compliant. After study and consultation, 2 options were presented: refurbish the sign, add a parking lot, and leave it at Donnell Hill, or refurbish the sign and move it to Freedom Plaza. After outlining the costs involved, Razzo did point out $50,000 is budgeted for art in the plaza and has not been used. The council opted to discuss the topic at a future meeting when all members are present. Finally, the city's Director of Information Services, Eli Marshall, made the case for upgrading the lights at the Lucky Park ball field. Marshall stated that the 22 wooden poles would be replaced with steel, and new lighting controllers would give city workers remote access. A singular bid from Quailite Sport Lighting was received, with materials, installation, and contingencies projected to cost approximately $1.3 million. The new lights were approved. Reporting for Z107.7, I'm Heather Clisby.
A lighter agenda left room for heavier discussion on code requirements for new businesses at last night's Yucca Valley Planning Commission meeting. Online news editor Robert Hayden picks it up from here.
The meeting kicked off with an item from last month. That's the color change request for the newly renamed Field Station Joshua Tree located at the west entrance of Yucca Valley. The former Travelodge is technically a mile closer to Morongo Valley than it is Joshua Tree, which is about 9 miles east of the site on Highway 62. Last month, the self-described outdoor hotel was asked to bring back elevations and paint samples of the proposed paint colors. Chair Clint Stoker noted that only additional 3D perspective mock-ups were once again submitted, adding that the town does ask for 2D elevations, an architectural term that represents a flat view of each of the building's facades. Despite the hair splitting, the exterior color change was approved for the hotel, and we'll have those mock-ups on our website. Developers and business owners who are looking to submit projects to the Planning Commission may want to start paying extra attention to some upcoming meetings. Associate Planner Jared Jerome and Deputy Town Manager Shane Stuckel discussed development permitting and whether the current codes and town standards still make sense for the types of new businesses coming into Yucca Valley. One of the topics on the table was if those town standards were fair to businesses looking to expand or improve on older buildings versus brand new construction. As an example, Stuckel brought up the Casa de Tequila and the minor expansions they had recently approved.
That project, which you recently saw, they added around that 267 square feet. But if they had wanted to add 700 square feet, the requirements completely change. And that's ultimately the question we're going to address with staff to the commission is, are those standards adequate or do those standards need to be changed?
Stuckel also reports that the Aquatic Center is out for bid and the town expects to have several contractors to choose from. And finally, if you and your kids have been down to the soggy soccer pitch at Brem Park, Public Works Director Alex Keisha says they've been working on drainage there alongside a more permanent solution for the area. Keisha reports that the town has secured a consultant that will look at the park and provide guidance on how to keep extra water from sticking around after storms and monsoons. You can find a longer version of this story on our website, Z107.7fm.com. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
The Yucca Valley Airport District Board of Directors meets in regular session tonight. On their agenda is a vote on a proposed private party construction of 6 hangars and a discussion about consequences for the disregarding of airport district rules. The board will also receive a report from the airport manager and address the cost and usage of electricity by T-hangar users. Tonight's meeting is open to the public and begins at 6:30 p.m. at the Yucca Valley Community Center. The Yucca Mesa Improvement Association will host a Measure W forum with County Fire officials tomorrow evening. If you missed a previous meeting or can't make a future meeting, all are welcome to attend. County Fire staff will be on site to explain Measure W and how it relates to the FP5 service fee. The meeting begins tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. at the Yucca Mesa Community Center, located at 3133 Balsa Avenue in Yucca Valley. Our local veteran outreach nonprofit Milltree will be holding a free writing workshop this Sunday at First World from noon to 4 p.m. as part of their expansive Tapestries of Transformation project. The class will be instructed by Z107.7's own Gabriel Hart, a published author who will use his own hard-earned lessons to pull the best stories from the class's participants. Rejoining us with details on the workshop is online news editor Robert Hayden.
For this Sunday's writing workshop at First World, Hart will be instructing the transition from memoir to fiction, exploring the freedom inherent in the third-person point of view. Hart says his goal for the class is to pull the writer outward instead of inward, replacing themselves with characters to communicate their feelings through actions. He hopes that this technique will create personal stories that are more relatable than a diary entry. Participants should bring a pen, notebook, and the courage to step outside themselves. Gabriel Hart is an author, poet, and journalist from Morongo Valley. He's been co-producing the Mojave Noir series that's benefited Milltree since 2021. Hart says he hopes to get as many veterans as possible to participate in the free workshop, but the class is open to all community members. To sign up for this free class, you can visit a link at this story on our website, Z107.7fm.com. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
And finally, Modernism Week in Palm Springs is happening, and a high desert institution has been included in this year's programming. The Joshua Tree Retreat Center, also known as the Institute of Mental Physics, is offering tours of buildings which feature the largest collection of structures designed by Lloyd Wright. They'll teach you about the principles of organic architecture and how this significant group of classic mid-century modern buildings came to be built in a remote area. Walking tours will be conducted on Sunday and Monday. Tickets are required, and you can buy them at a link in this story at Z107.7fm.com. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear news happening, let us know about it. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z1077 Local News, I'm Jeff Harmetz.